All right, Timo,
Hey, Emmanuel.
thank you very much for taking the time to quickly tell us about ale. To get you started, how many ales have you been to?
I think that must be like eight or nine, probably out of the 14 I think we had so far, or 13. Yeah.
That's actually a number I don't know.
Yeah, it started in 2011. So 2025 should be number 15 minus one that couldn't actually happen, and one that was remote.
I know that it started in 2011, but yeah, with the pandemic, and it's like, what do you count and what do you not count? I never attempted to actually count how many ales I've been. But you've been to eight or
Yeah.
nine, so it's fair to say that you have something to say about this conference.
Yes, I've
Um,
been there several times, and I made my experiences for sure.
so what makes you come back?
To me, ale is a community and at the same time an excellent opportunity for myself to learn from and with people who are really dedicated about um, creating a better work life, better work environments, maybe a better life in general for people, and who are serious about figuring out what could be done, with what are obstacles, what are problems, what do they share, what can we learn from that, and find ways to move on.
Hmm. Yeah, what do you think is it about ale that attracts those kind of people?
That's really probably not so easy to answer. I mean, it's a non-conference, which means you're not presented with a palette of solutions and of new approaches that are new methods, new tools that you can just learn about and basically check off your list. Instead, it's an environment that has just enough structure for meaningful exchange to happen, which means we have to fill that by ourselves as participants. We join the group, we join the community in order to bring in our questions, our experience, our ideas, put them together and see what grows from it. So that's different from a conventional conference or training where you basically go as a consumer and expect to be delivered ideas and insights and knowledge, so you can take that home with you. That's different, and I think that probably also attracts particular people.
Hmm. Yeah. So
Sorry, I'd like to correct, because I said it attracts particular people. I think that's not a good framing. I'd like to change that and say um, this probably brings people together with a particular preparedness to contribute and learn that is different from broadcasting environments. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, that makes sense. It's not that you just attract a certain kind of
Right.
people and we're all the same and we just tell each other in an echo chamber what we
Yeah.
want to
Right.
hear. Um, but yeah, you show up with a different mindset, I
I
guess.
think that's what makes it
Um,
different.
yeah, and so my point that I was trying to make is I think I'm more and more gaining clarity on that ale. The real value of ale is not joining an event; it's joining the community, as you said.
Yes, I would support that fully. The rest is much less important than really the people we meet there. And it's always interesting also to see that, like, yeah, probably like half or so are regulars that always fits together quite well, because the spirit in which people meet kind of seems to fit each time.
Yeah, and that's interesting, even though it's very diverse and it's not always the same
Mm.
people. And it's probably that is aided by the conference traveling around in Europe. So it always attracts a lot of newcomers from the local community. Is there anything else that you would like to add that's different about Ale compared to other conferences?
I think there is a very explicit and clear invitation to be curious and open, and ask lots of questions, try to learn about other participants' experience and context. I experience a lot more exchange with others at Ale than I do in most other places that are otherwise similar. Yeah.
Hmm. Yeah, makes sense. So, if you had to pick one or a few, what are your favorite parts about Ale? Like the structure, the concept
Hmm.
itself.
Well, first of all, certainly the open space structure. So that thing that I just described as a minimal structure that enables people to meet in a meaningful way. I think that's fundamental. There are other events that use that concept. I think at Ale, it's really fundamental to the functioning of the whole thing, of the community as a whole, I'd say. That's certainly very central to what ale is to me. And then there are things that basically come from this idea of ale being an event that happens every year in a different place, organized by a different organizing team. So it's always a local team from the place where ale will happen, that does the whole organization of the event. And that too makes it very special. So you just mentioned this aspect of the mingling of the community. So you have a local community that kind of gets into contact with that Europe-wide community of aliens. That in itself is very special, but also that organizers are each time a different team. Of course, in the organizing team, there's always at least someone who who's had some ale experience before, but often, or I think usually, many of the ale organizers have never been to an ale themselves. That too is a kind of a structural element that helps bring in new ideas, learn from what we had before, and bring communities, bring people together for that learning experience. So that's probably the two things that contribute most to making ale very special in comparison to other similar formats.
Yeah, agree. I think if either of those two were missing, it wouldn't be Ale. I wouldn't consider it
Mhm.
an ale if there was no open space.
Yeah, I think
um,
they are defining. Yeah.
yeah. So you've been organizing yourself in Zurich in what was it,
Mm-hmm.
2018?
Yes.
So, and it's community based, right? You didn't get paid for that. Why on earth would you do that?
Yeah, it's crazy. there's this nice saying. We're not doing it because it's easy. We're doing it because we thought it was going to be easy. I think that's part of the truth in that case as well. Where I wasn't the organizer, I was part of the organizing team. I did initiate it, but we were a group of dedicated people, and we gave each other lots of support. So that was not my own ale. So it was not that hard. It was at the same time a very intense learning and collaboration experience with people that I didn't otherwise work with, most of them. That in itself was like, in addition to the ale event, an alesome experience that I would recommend others to give to themselves once. Uh,
Yeah, just
Mhm.
just once.
Yeah, well, generally, so far, Ale happened in a different location, initiated and organized by a different organizing team. So that's the once part. So it will probably only happen to you once until we've seen all the cities in Europe, and then maybe we start over again from Berlin or so. Who knows?
I think there's a few left.
Yeah,
So
there's probably a few options. On the other hand, forum organizers do often involve themselves in supporting subsequent iterations of Ale events with ideas, feedback, maybe doing something. When there's an opportunity to help in some way, then many of us will be prepared to step in. So yes, you're it's a something you do once, and then maybe in smaller portions again over the years.
yeah, as you're doing right now for us in Munich. Thank you for that, and thank you for this short interview, sharing your experience. Is there anything else you would like to add before we wrap up?
Well, I would like to thank you for uh, how do you say that, for taking the torch and moving on with Ale in 2025, bringing it to Munich. I'm very much looking forward to participating this year. It will be great once again. Thanks to your action this year. So thank you for that. You and your team.
Awesome. Yeah, it's definitely my honor, and I'm very much looking forward to hosting you, the place at Cologne.
Very nice.